For generations, Illinois was the industrial heartland. Today, another factory is simply moving its entire operation across the street, not across the ocean, but still leaving Illinois behind. The Hyster-Yale Materials Company, a pillar in industrial machinery, recently announced the closure of its Danville, Illinois facility. This move isn't a long-distance relocation. It's a short hop across the state line to Avon, Indiana. A decision with profound implications for the local workforce and state economy. This closing means 20 employees will be laid off, effective June 1st. The company states their new Avon facility will serve as a modernized customer and parts solutions center, streamlining North American operations. The proximity of Danville to the Illinois-Indiana border, merely a few miles, made this cross-state transition remarkably easy, yet its economic consequences for Illinois are undeniable. It reveals a pattern of decisions that undermine the state's industrial base. Hyster-Yale's move is far from an isolated incident. This migration of businesses from Illinois to Indiana spans a diverse array of sectors, encompassing manufacturing, logistics, technology, and service industries. It suggests a systemic issue, rather than a series of unrelated events. The border between these two states has become a porous membrane, with economic opportunity flowing predominantly in one direction. This trend signals a fundamental shift in regional economic dynamics. Companies consistently cite Illinois' high taxes, burdensome property tax bills, and stringent regulations as the primary catalysts for their departure. In stark contrast, Indiana actively promotes a lower corporate tax rate, lighter property taxes, and a significantly more business-friendly regulatory environment. Many companies strategically position themselves just across the Indiana border, enabling them to dramatically cut operating costs while retaining crucial access to the lucrative Chicago customer base. This delicate balance is a powerful draw. The heart of the problem lies in the tax gap. Illinois bears one of the heaviest combined state and local tax burdens in the entire nation. Specifically, Illinois suffers under the nation's second highest property taxes, following only New Jersey. This fiscal pressure creates an unsustainable environment for many businesses, especially those operating on already thin margins. The financial disparity becomes a critical factor in relocation decisions, forcing businesses to seek more favorable economic climates. Indiana further widens this gap with its aggressively low and decreasing income tax rates. The state's flat income tax rate is set at 2.95% for 2026, a reduction from 3% in 2025. This rate is scheduled to drop even further to 2.9% in 2027. For businesses, especially those operating with tight profit margins, these seemingly small differences in tax rates can translate into millions of dollars in annual savings. Such incentives are hard to ignore. The exodus is starkly evident in the raw data. Between 2022 and 2023 alone, Illinois experienced a staggering loss of 28,609 income tax filers through interstate migration. This wave of departures represented a net loss of approximately $6 billion in adjusted gross income for the state. Illinois consistently ranked among the worst states nationwide for this type of financial bleeding, alongside economic powerhouses like California and New York. This signifies a fundamental shift of wealth and economic vitality away from the state. This financial drain isn't just about businesses, it's about people. Northwest Indiana towns, including Dyer, Crown Point, St. John, and Schererville, have rapidly transformed into relocation hotspots for individuals, families, and employees fleeing Illinois. They seek lower costs of living and better opportunities. This demographic shift further fuels the economic disparity, as Indiana gains a burgeoning tax base and workforce, while Illinois watches its residents and their income move next door. The border communities are changing dramatically. So, why Indiana specifically? Its strategic location directly adjacent to Chicago, one of the world's most critical business centers, is paramount. This proximity allows businesses to leverage Chicago's immense market and talent pool without incurring Illinois' higher operating costs. Logistics firms are particularly drawn to Indiana's direct interstate highway access, offering efficient transport routes and the significant advantage of avoiding Illinois' costly toll fees, further enhancing their competitive edge. Beyond logistics, technology firms are enticed by Indiana's lower overhead costs and its often faster incentive timelines, making it a more agile and responsive state for new investments. And crucially, because the border is so close, employees can frequently maintain their jobs, simply commuting across state lines, which helps companies preserve their valuable teams and institutional knowledge. This unique blend of factors makes Indiana a particularly attractive proposition for businesses seeking both stability and growth. This pattern of departure is not new, it's a long-standing trend. Even major corporations have abandoned Illinois. Caterpillar, a global giant, moved its headquarters to Texas after nearly a century within the state. Boeing shifted its corporate headquarters from Chicago to Arlington, Virginia. And billionaire Ken Griffin's financial firm, Citadel, relocated from Chicago to Miami, Florida. When these giants leave for distant states and mid-sized firms slip across the Indiana border, the underlying message remains chillingly consistent. Illinois' business environment is increasingly untenable. Governor J.B. Pritzker has repeatedly dismissed the significance of these business departures, contending that Illinois offers too much for companies and residents to leave permanently. He emphasizes the state's robust universities, advanced healthcare systems, superior transportation infrastructure, and vibrant cultural amenities. Yet, critics argue that the grim statistics detailing lost tax filers, diminished income, and a steady stream of relocating companies paint a profoundly different and more concerning picture. The official narrative clashes fiercely with the economic realities on the ground. This debate unfolds as Illinois recently enacted the largest budget in its history, which includes further new taxes on businesses. Every company that opts to move carries its income, payroll, and property tax dollars out of Illinois, diminishing the state's revenue streams. This continuous outward flow directly impacts public services, infrastructure, and the overall quality of life for remaining residents. The cumulative impact of these individual decisions creates a significant fiscal challenge. Simultaneously, Indiana strategically benefits, gaining a ready tax base, new payrolls, and increased lease income from relocating businesses. These individual moves, seemingly small in isolation, collectively accumulate into a significant and steady drain on Illinois' economic vitality. Each departure strengthens Indiana's economic position, amplifying the divergence between the two states. The consequences for Illinois residents and public services will only grow if this pattern persists unchecked. Governor Mike Braun of Indiana has spearheaded efforts to attract companies, and the policy success is evident. Since 2007, at least 54 Illinois-based companies have moved operations to Indiana, bringing over $650 million in investment. This deliberate strategy offers a stark contrast to Illinois' approach. In 2010, Indiana also added over 400,000 residents, illustrating the broader demographic shift alongside corporate relocations. This concerted growth underscores Indiana's strategic advantage. The core question confronting Illinois remains: will the state pivot its economic strategy, or will it continue to passively observe businesses and residents cross the border? The future of Illinois' economy hinges on whether its leadership acknowledges this systemic problem and implements meaningful reforms aimed at fostering a competitive business environment. Without a decisive change in direction, the silent exodus to Indiana will continue, reshaping the economic landscape of the entire Midwest. The stakes are immense and increasing.